Welcome to Organizing Elephants on Radnor Studio 21. I'm Darla DeMorrow, professional organizer and host of this show, which features sanity-saving organizing wisdom from smart, busy, accomplished women. And today, I'm thrilled to have as our guest Angela Bruno, who is the owner and founder of the brand new Kids Clubhouse on the main line. Angela, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Darla.
I can't tell you how excited I am that you're here and that you're open.
Yes, me too, for sure. It's been a long road, but finally open.
It has. So for folks who maybe haven't driven past you yet, because you're located right in Radnor.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll get into that in a second. For folks who haven't driven past, haven't seen your sign out front, just a heads up, the Kids Clubhouse of the Main Line is a drop-in childcare center that we have needed for so long. My kids are a bit older. They're 10 and up at this point, but it's such a great idea, and I know other people have had the idea, but you've actually made it happen. So kudos and congratulations to you. But before we start talking about the Kids Clubhouse at the Main Line, as I said in the intro, this is a show about and for women with a lot going on, women who are doing things in their professional and volunteer lives and also raising a family. And you have that going on too, don't you?
Yes, for sure.
So tell me a little bit about how you got to Radnor, how many kids you have, what's your backstory?
Sure. So I'm originally from Pottstown, so about half an hour from here. I grew up. My husband and I went to the same high school. And then when we were pregnant with our first, we moved down to Austin, Texas for 4 years. And then when my oldest was 2.5, we found out we were having twins. So instead of dragging her to all the doctor's appointments with us, I would take her to the drop-in daycare, which is very prevalent and common in Austin. I learned to be able to count on them. They had a staff there that was great. It was fun for her. I didn't have to worry about it. And then when I moved back up here, now I had 3 kids, trying to unpack a house. I was still a stay-at-home mom. But I immediately went to look where's the closest drop-in daycare because I learned to love them down there. And there was nothing here. And I just couldn't believe it, that parents didn't have that resource here. So I complained about it enough to my husband, I think, and he started 2 companies himself, actually. So his kind of philosophy is if something doesn't exist that you know people will love, then you just start it yourself. So that's kind of what I started doing a 1.5 years ago. Did a lot of research, market research, and found out that a lot of people did not even know that that could exist here. But they would love it if it did. So it took a lot of work and took about 1.5 years to open, but we finally opened it up, and we've been open for 2 months now.
So it's, as we're taping this, it's September 2019. So if folks are looking for you, they should know it's, yes. You are open here in 2019. Yay, going into 2020. And tell us where the business is located.
Sure, it's located in Wayne, near the Radnor Hotel and the Radnor Financial Center. In that building, we're actually in the same building as the Radnor Financial Center, and it's located in the back. So you can't see us from the road, but once you find us once, then it's pretty easy to get to.
And it's nice. I haven't been there, but I saw the picture of the outside. There's actually an entrance with an awning, and so it's not like one of those. I know they're kind of imposing sometimes. Those big office buildings, you kind of have to go in and look at the directory and figure out where you're going.
No.
Not with your place.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you drive around to the back of the building, we're right there. We have our own entrance.
Gotcha. And there's a lot of building that's been going on there. There's a strip mall down there with some little restaurants, nice places. It's right across from the high school, right?
Yes, it
right
is,
across from the Radnor High School.
Yep.
So easy to find, not far from the train station. Yep. Okay. So how old are your kids now?
So my oldest is 6. She just started first grade, and then my twins just turned 4 yesterday, actually.
Oh, well, happy birthday to them and to
you.
Yeah. You all got another year.
Yeah, we made it 4 years so far.
That is awesome. So that's a story that I resonate with personally, and I know a lot of the people that I talk with, a lot of my clients and people that watch this show are thinking, I can't do fill in the blank, XYZ, because I, have kids or I have twins God bless you. And, I can't. And you got over that. You actually made something out of nothing. I love hearing stories like this. You mentioned your husband already had started a couple of businesses. What made you think that you were the person to make something out of nothing?
Well, a big part of it was that a lot of people here didn't even realize that could exist. So I came from, I saw how great this was in another area. Another big part of it was that my husband did start companies, so I have seen like the process that he's gone through. It's definitely a slightly different business, but I've seen it from a startup, a founder, what the struggles you go through, and a lot of part you feel very alone in the whole like building a company. But if you don't look at it from a big picture the whole time you're building the picture, you just building the company, you just take it step by step. Before you know it, you're looking back and you're like, I don't know how I got here a year and a half ago, but I took step by step and somehow made it open.
I'm often sharing with people, and people have shared with me before as well, that the title Organizing Elephants comes from, how do you eat an elephant?
Right.
And the answer is,
yep.
One bite at a time. And so you're right. You don't look at the whole elephant. You just take whatever's in front of you today that you have to get done. That's
right.
Exactly what it sounds like you did.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So was there any time during that year and a half that you did step back and looked at the whole elephant and thought, what am I doing?
Probably not in that year and a half. Now that it's open and we've had the last crazy 3 weeks of being open and school starting with our kids, I'm glad to have this next few weeks we're still busy, but not as busy as the last 3 weeks. So me and my staff are figuring out what to, make better for the upcoming months. And then also, Sam, on the personal side, like, okay, now they started school, I can, get into a new groove and new schedules.
So let's talk about the personal side for a minute. We'll come back to the Kids Clubhouse because I really do want to know more about that. I may have a kid in care for a moment later this week. We shall see. But how do you, because this is an organizing show, how do you manage? How do you get, twins, I got to hand it to you. I don't have twins. I think that would be a little bit harder than, my situation at home with 2 kids. So what are the things that you do to stay organized, or do you even think about it? Do you have strategies that you use? Do you do things to bring your family along so that they can help you? Tell me how that works at your place.
So it's a lot of communication. My husband and I are always communicating. He travels sometimes to Austin. We do have my parents just a half an hour away. His parents live in North Carolina, but they live with us probably about half the month. So that's helpful. So communicating both of our schedules at the beginning of the month now, especially that the kids are starting their fall activities, who's doing what and when. I do have a little bit of a perk that I have a drop-in daycare. So as long as it's not filled with kids who are there, otherwise sometimes my kids have gone at the end of the days, or there's that. But yeah, we just mostly communication is what was really the key.
Communication. It sounds like you are using all of your resources all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even with owning a drop-in daycare, I still run into issues. So if you don't have a drop-in daycare that you can lean on, sometimes the issues are even more intense.
Right. Now, when you were first moved back here from Austin, and before you took on starting the business, there was a time when you didn't have all of that support. How did you make it all work then?
Yeah, so then I was a stay-at-home mom, and like you said, in Austin, so away from family. But like I said, there was that drop-in daycare there, so I did that. It also, I have a advantage of starting a company that I was the spouse of someone who started company, so I saw what they went through, and now I know the struggles of what it feels like to be a spouse of someone starting a company. So I try to be aware of that, because now my husband's also, in addition to starting his own company, he's on the other side of now being the spouse of someone who starts their own company. So we try to be aware of that with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that empathy and just trying to get out of your own head sometimes and saying, hey, what's going on with you?
Exactly.
Whether it's for your spouse or your kids. I know that can be important. What are some strategies that you use? I know people on the show in the past have said things like, I only buy black socks, or, I only cook crock pot meals, or, do you have any trademark secrets that you feel like? And I'll give you a little secret, and this is for our viewers too. Most of the people who come on this show say, I don't know why I'm on an organizing show because I don't feel organized. And, we tease out, we had this conversation, and it turns out you have some great trips.
Yeah. It's been really helpful because I am a horrible cook, and I'm also bad at planning meals ahead of time, is that I use my friend's home cooked. I don't know if you've used them. They're amazing.
Out in Paoli.
Out in Paoli, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she does the pre-planned meals and pre-cooked. All you have to do is they're either frozen or fresh already, and so we have a bunch of them in our basement, in the freezer. And so when I just didn't prepare anything for that week, especially this last week, it just go downstairs, get something out of the freezer, and have it ready. Yeah.
So you did prepare something. It's just
prepared
exactly. A different way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, give yourself credit
sure,
where credit is due.
Yeah.
Because that's funny. If you didn't plan anything,
right.
you wouldn't have anything
hot dogs every every night. Yeah.
But I think that's important. From a coaching and an empathy standpoint, which is what I do a lot of the time. People say, "Oh, I'm not organized, or I don't plan meals," but actually, you are planning meals by making sure that you have that Plan B and Plan C already planned out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So your kids just started school, like everybody's kids around here. Is there anything that's been kind of a, hey, I got to do this differently, sort of an aha moment for you as the kids start their new year?
Not too much. Just a lot more of, I have to leave work by a certain time now. So before it was, we had, summer sitters, and usually I could just say hey, can you stay an extra half an hour? Now that I need to leave to pick up my girls from school, they are in aftercare, but there is a point I don't want to leave them there, so many hours. So I am putting, a new thing that my staff knows that now I, can't always stay after, so I have to leave by a certain time, which is also good for personal reasons. I want to make sure that I have those time with the kids, and sometimes they do have after school activities that just make the day a little crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I hear everybody going through that. And that when we go from school year to summer, and then back from summer to school year, and even as we go through different semesters, or clubs breaks, start and end during the year. I mean, it's a fact of life. Schedules change, and so communicating. I do the same thing. We have to say, oh, something's changed. Just this morning I had probably not my best parenting moment with my my younger daughter saying, you're not on board with the new schedule yet. We need to make some changes. How's that going to work?
Yeah.
And she's a little bit older, so we can talk and talk and talk until there's no more room for talking. And it's you have to lay down the law as a parent. Do you ever feel like you have to do that and just say, look, I'm the mom for a reason?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, our 4-year-olds are just now getting that. It's a lot easier to talk to them now that they're 4, but yeah, they're also going. I've seen a break with my 6-year-old now. She's a lot more socially and emotionally aware of herself. So looking forward to that when my 4-year-olds get there too.
Yeah. So do you feel like I want to ask you 2 questions here. Do you feel like you're getting a good, I said before the show, I don't believe in balance. That word balance is talked about in the mom life. I think that it's really just sort of managing through your day and celebrating your accomplishments, whatever it is that your accomplishments are. I think the balance is just a myth. Personally, I don't know how you feel about that. But do you feel like you're constantly managing? Do you feel like sometimes you reach balance, or you always reach balance? I'm interested to hear.
No, I definitely do not feel like I always reach balance. But as a stay-at-home mom who opened a drop-in daycare, I had a very long switch to that. So I, started with just a few here and there, like an hour or 2 a day, getting a babysitter while I was starting to research and do work on the business. I know a lot of parents don't have that advantage. They they aren't able to do that. So I feel like I had like a 1.5 year long transition from being a stay-at-home parent to now a full-time parent. So that's just it worked for me, but yeah, it's definitely not every day feeling balanced for sure. Yeah, some days you feel like you totally failed, and other days, but at the same time, really, just a lot of days I'll just ask my child how they feel, and just looking at them, they're like, I didn't even notice that you had a bad day. You're just being amazing, Mom. So really, it's all in the parent's head, probably mostly how horrible you feel the day went, or how unbalanced everything is, but your kids see the day totally differently.
I think that's a really interesting point. Your insides, how you're feeling insides, are maybe completely differently, not reflecting what the other people in your household or your staff are seeing.
Exactly.
And I know as a business owner myself, I've had to, kind of check myself, and where I maybe feel like there's a tornado going off in my head,
right.
The people around me aren't necessarily seeing that, or sometimes they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, you kind of have to regulate. I think that's one of the things that makes a good entrepreneur, is being able to regulate or being self-aware at that level, don't you think?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So what are some other tips at home? Some, like we used to call them brass tacks. I don't think we call them that anymore, but some really detailed things that work for you that maybe you've picked up along the way. Probably you don't even realize you're doing
I was
differently.
trying to rack my brain last night about all these things. Really, the only little thing I could think of was when I actually kind of enjoy doing the laundry. I think it's like a quiet time, alone. I'm getting something done, but there's nothing else going on. But when I fold the laundry, I'm putting them in piles already, of so that when I take them out of the laundry basket and just put them right away, rather than as I'm folding them, just putting them in a random, just order whatever I folded in.
Yeah.
So all the jeans together folded, and then so it's just easier to put away for me.
Yeah.
But often now with the business, I find myself living out of that folded basket until I do the laundry the next time. So it never really was that way when I was a stay-at-home mom full time, but that's how it is now, and I just accept it. They're clean. I'm just gonna wear them out of the basket.
There you go. And you showed up today all dressed, not naked.
Yeah, actually ironed a shirt yesterday.
Yeah. So that's so important, because you had to maybe let go of expectations around where the laundry ends up in order to be able to open your doors.
Yeah.
Trade-off, right?
Yeah, for sure. Had to let go of a lot of responsibilities at home that I was very particular over. And so it was either someone else can help get that done, and at least it gets done, or I harp over it, and now I'm stressing myself out doubly, and it probably didn't get done. So and another couple of years, the kids will be able to help you out too. Yeah.
Are you asking the kids to actually help you with some of the things that you're having to maybe let go of a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. Like some of the age appropriate things.
Like what?
Like Thursdays, my oldest knows that it's her day to clean her room. So I've really kind of let go, instead of every day being like, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room. We have people who come and help clean the house a little bit on Fridays. So Thursdays is a good day for her to, whatever she, I remind her all week, you can either clean up a little now, or you can save it all for Thursday. So she's been helping out doing that. That's her job on Thursdays anyway.
Yeah. And does she do it perfectly?
No, not the way I would do it, but it's off the floor, and I told her, just put things back where you're going to remember to do them. You're going to remember to find them later. So
off the floor. That's kind of my baseline too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't walk on anything.
I agree.
Yeah.
So tell me. So let's talk a little bit more about the Kids Clubhouse. Love the name. What's the best thing about it?
Probably that it's just really the only drop-in daycare in the area. We also have full-time and part-time program. We do birthday parties. We're going to hopefully start some yoga classes in the mornings.
For yoga for the
for
kids?
Yes.
Or
yeah,
for the parents,
kids,
or both?
It might be for both, but definitely for kids.
Okay.
We're trying to see what the parents are more interested in, a kids and parents class or just a kids class. So we do a lot of things, but our differentiator is definitely the drop-in part. So you can take your kid there for an hour while you run the Target, which we've had parents do. I'm just going to be there for an hour so I can get the Target things done without having, kids putting everything else in the cart that we don't need. or you can leave them there for 8-9 hours. So when camps were not in session and schools were not in session, those were our busy days. And again, we're gearing up for the days that schools have off. That'll be like that again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've seen the pictures of the space. You know, Happy Kids. It's bright. It's of course brand new because you just opened. What do you love about what's the best thing about the space?
Probably that it's just so open. So we have a lot of half walls. We only have one room that's full walled, and they're all age appropriate. So we have a 2 to 4 year old room. We have a 3 and up room that just has some smaller toys. We have a gym, and then we have our eating/craft area. But it's just really open. When you walk in, it just doesn't look like a very small space. And 9 times out of 10, the kids are running in saying, "See you later, Mom, please leave."
So, that's great. That's when you know you have a great space because they're interested in going and playing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what I loved about what I saw is that it doesn't seem to be a lot of screens. So I know when I used to go work out at a particular gym, I would be working out and the kids would all be sitting in front of the TV, and that kind of drove me crazy.
Yeah.
So it looks like you keep the kids pretty active and they play with each other.
Yeah, for sure. We have a video game in the older kids' room, but that has a 15-minute limit. And so every 30 minutes we're switching rooms anyway, so they're not in that room fairly often throughout the day. And then the TV screens are really for our Friday and Saturday nights, which we just started. We're open till 9 Fridays and Saturday nights for date nights. And we'll probably have a movie on in the background. The volume of those TVs don't go very loud, so it'll really just be in the background while the kids are playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much more that I want to ask you about the kids. I'm trying to line up my questions here. Is there a chance that somebody can abuse like their privileges there? Is it if they, like me? Sometimes I have a really good schedule, and then I have a week or two where I'm just slammed with work, and maybe I need a little more help than usual. Is there a way that people can get cut out, or can they just come as much as they need?
Yeah, they can come as little or as much as they need, and we know that the modern family has those ebbs and flows, so we don't expect people to be there every day or every other week even. Just use us as you need us. As long as we have the ratios, we always have to, since we're a licensed daycare, we have to stay within our teacher and child ratios. Then you put in your time request and we turn around, get that confirmation to you, and you're in.
I was going to ask, so what if I show up and it's full and you have to say, sorry, no deal?
Yeah, so if you know a day or 2 or 3 ahead of time, you can reserve a spot up to 7 days in advance. But we can take straight walk-ins, which we've had before. People just yesterday, actually, someone came in and said, can we just go, my husband and I go out to lunch? It's our anniversary. And we just, for an hour and a half, they were there. So as long as our ratios allow it, that's fine. But I do, when people register, I say, you can walk in the day of. Just keep in mind that we always have to be aware of our ratios, so there may be a chance. That's why I always do suggest sign. And we do have also a 100-hour program. We have different packages that people can purchase. The 100-hour package allows you to book months and months in advance. So we've had people already book out all the days that their kids have off from school, so they don't have to worry the week before, am I going to get a space? Because all the other packages you can only book up to a week. So
see, right there, that's an organizing trick.
Right, exactly.
That probably you do. I just sat down with my calendar and actually marked off every single day for the rest of the school year. And I know not everybody does that. That's kind of an organizing, think ahead.
Yeah.
Now, my husband doesn't do that. He doesn't think to look at the calendar for next May and June, and I've already got those dates on my calendar. So taking it a step further and booking the care time as well. Right. Brilliant.
Exactly.
I love it.
So every few weeks you're not scrambling to find another, calling all your 5 babysitters and seeing who can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That is so great. Well, there are so many other people, you've probably heard the stories, but I know of other people who have tried to start businesses similar to yours. There was somebody who was trying to start a co-working space with childcare. Maybe that's something for you to build into, but you've actually done it. So that's amazing. And licensed daycare is not an easy business to start because you do have to get some approvals from the state.
Right, exactly. And I did find out early on in my research that there's definitely big differences between the way Texas licenses their daycares and Pennsylvania. For good and bad, it's just they have a separate licensing for drop-in daycares. whereas Pennsylvania doesn't. So we're going through, all the regulations that every regular daycare is, which is good because it gives us a lot of things to fall back on and say, we have the same amount of, we have the staff with the same regulations. All of our space is regulated the same as any licensed daycare, but the business is totally different. So it's interesting for sure.
Yeah. Are you loving it? Are you loving running the business, even though, it's just part of your life? It's not all of your life.
Yeah, it's a lot to juggle between the financials, the marketing. I'm doing all of that. And then also getting all trying to get inbound, full-time, part-time, drop-in, and just keep that going, because as you know, drop-in, you could have 0 kids one day, or you could have 20 kids one day. So just trying to find that middle balance. I do love it. Sometimes it's a little challenging, but I hear parents say, you have no idea, this has been a lifesaver, and so that makes it worth it. So, because I know otherwise those parents would have really had nowhere to turn, especially if they didn't have family in the area.
Yeah. I'm wishing you were here, 5 or 6 years
I hear
ago.
that a lot too, yeah.
Because my kids are, like I said, 10 and up now, and it's just, there were so many days, the pit of my stomach was 3 feet lower than it should have been, and I'm thinking, how am I going to make this work? And I, don't have family in the area, have very few friends, or felt like I could, only call on a couple of friends, just very infrequently when it was a super duper real crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
So now having the ability to come to you and say, hey, just take my kid for a little bit, not forever. I don't want to sign a big contract. That is awesome. Yeah. So what about at work? Give me an organizing tip at work for somebody who's either starting a business or runs a business like you and I do. What kind of things are you doing to keep yourself organized and on track at work?
So probably one of the biggest things in the last 2 months, now that I've had staff for the last 3 or 4 months, is just learning what, as an owner and founder, only things I can do. Again, like I said, I like to control a lot of things, but a lot of those things don't necessarily have to be done by me. So as long, just learning the things that I can pass on to others. I'm hiring trustworthy people who I think would do the work. So they are fully capable of doing some of the things that I don't necessarily have to do. So probably that's been my biggest, one of the biggest things that I've learned from the last couple of months is that, yes, while they may not be able to do all the financials and everything, but they can definitely help market. So my staff has gone out and, handed out pamphlets, and so the marketing doesn't all have to fall on me as well.
That again is brilliant, and it's something that we as moms learn too, that we can't always do for our children. We have to let them grow. Same thing with employees. We have to let our employees bloom and grow and take on additional responsibilities too. Yeah. Well, this has been great. I loved learning a little bit more about the Kids Clubhouse. I will definitely be stopping in, and I hope that that people share this TV show, because it gives them a chance to learn more about you without, before they actually make it out that way, but know that this resource is available. And you gave so many great organizing tips. Again, I know you think they're not organizing tips, but trust me, not everybody is doing the things that you do. So thank you for sharing, kind of behind the curtain with us. And I really hope that everyone watching has been able to learn from Angela and has been able to learn some sanity-saving organizing wisdom from a brand new entrepreneur right in our area. So join us again next time on Organizing Elephants. Thanks so much.